Sri Kameshwar. He comes from a Ramana family, both from his own father's side and also from his wife's side. He is a grandson of Ramana Bhakta, Sri K. Vaidyanathan, who was the scoutmaster in Sri Bhagavan's time. And he is the son of Dr. V. Gauri Shankar, who was the president of Ramana Kendra, Delhi. Lineage of Ramana devotees. He is a great spiritual person. He is very knowledgeable in Sanskrit and he has written articles and commentaries. He is author of many books and he gives regular discourses. I request Mr. Kameshwar to come and deliver his address. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya.
I request you to join me in the beginning chant and then we'll get into the talk of the day. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. 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 I was asking Manianna in the Ramanashramam as to what are the worships that are currently being offered in Sri Ramanashramam in connection with cow Lakshmi. He said, every Friday after breakfast, Veda Pathashala boys go to the cow Lakshmi Samadhi and there is a archana done there, after which there is a particular prasadam of puri and some kadalai which is given after the Friday worship. That is regular every Friday. Then on Lakshmi's Nirvana day, the main priest of the ashram, after Tayar Puja and Bhagavan's Puja, comes and does a major puja at Cow Lakshmi Samadhi with Bhagavan's picture kept on the steps nearby. As it happens, this time it was also on Friday. The Mahanirvana day was on 3rd July, which was Friday, so they had both the pujas, as a morning puja as well as the big puja. And then on Mattu Pongal day, they again have Bhagavan's picture looking at cow Lakshmi's statue and they have a major puja, after which all of them proceed to the Goshala and there is a designated cow and calf to which worship is offered. The Mattu Pongal puja is supposed to be he tells me it is very, very nice and all the foreigners love to watch it when all the cows are decorated and worship is offered, and he gave me a special invite to come this time, which I shall go, I plan to. So I thought I'll just set the mood in terms of our, the Nayika of today's Satsangam, Cow Lakshmi. We are celebrating today her Mahanirvana. So let us take our mind to that time. And as I begin this, there may be many things that I say that would have been already, in some sense, very well known to you, covered by Ambika, covered by Sri Tyagarajan. But it is like this, I mean, when we are taking a bath in the Ganges, we took one yesterday, we took one day before yesterday, it doesn't stop us for taking one more today. We only become purer. you only become happier, you only become lighter, or antakarana only becomes more shuddham. Likewise, cow, Lakshmi, is like Gayatri Mantram. She is in the ashram of Bhagavan. By more repetition of Gayatri Mantram, who ever lost anything? You only gain. Cow Lakshmi is certainly like Kamadhenu in Vasishta's ashrama. She is like Bhuma Devi in the form of a cow. The more she is the holy of holies. Mahapariva Kanchi Mahaswamigal, in his Maitrim Bhajata, he says, Janani Prithvi Kamadughaste Janako Deva Paramadayalu. Janani Prithvi Bhuma Devi Kamadugha. She is Kamadhenu. Janako Deva. Father is Ishvara, the Lord. We are seeing that here, no? Janani Prithvi Kamadughaste Lakshmi Janako Deva. Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi Paramadayalu. So, if there is some repetition of some episode, let us take it as a third helping of a payasam that we like. Let us go back in our mind and live that day of Mahanirvana, 18 June 1948, Friday, Vishaka Nakshatram. Early morning, Jagadish Shastri has come and told Bhagavan, she is in her last throes. Lakau Lakshmi is lying in the cow shed and she is breathing heavily, panting. Nagamma has gone there before even seeing Bhagavan. She is seeing Venkatratnam, the attendant, fanning cow Lakshmi. He is sitting. She is lying down on one side in the straw, breathing hard. She chants Ramana Dwadasha, Om Namo Bhagavate Shri Ramanaya to cow Lakshmi. Then she chants the Ashtotram to cow Lakshmi and she says, it seems she is listening. These are the last moments of a great being. She is lying there. It brings to my mind two verses from Adi Shankara's Subramanya Bhujangam, where he writes on our behalf about the last moments of our life. Prashantendriye nashta sanje vicheshte kaphodgari vaktre bhayotkampi gatre prayanonmukhe mayyanathe tadanim dhutam me dayalo bhavagre guhatvam. Prashantendriye, when my senses are all one by one getting switched off. Nashta sanje, when my consciousness is getting destroyed. Vicheshte, when I am unable to move my limbs. Kapodgari vaktre, when phlegm and foam is just slipping out of my mouth. Bhayotkampi gatre, when all my body is trembling in fear of death which is next to me. Prayanonmukhe, just before that final journey, O Lord. Mayyanathe, when I have nobody else. I am anatha at that time. Who is there except you as my natha? Mayyanathe tadanim dhrutam me dayalo bhavagre guhatvam. Please, O dayalo guha, come in front of me quick at that time. During my last moments. Next verse is Kritantasya duteshu chandeshu kopa dahachindi bhinditi mantarjayatsu mayuram samaruhya ma bhairiditvam pura shakti panir mamaya shigram. When the Yamadutas come and they are snatching the life away from the body and saying, Chindi, bindi, cut, destroy, break it. They are shouting like that. And they are torturing me at that time. Please, on the peacock, O Muruga, come saying, be not afraid, Mahabhai Riti. Shaktipani, O Dandapani, come in front of me quickly, Shigram. As it happened, this was Adi Shankara's Subrahmanya Bhujangam, which is said to have been sung by Bhagavad to the Murugan in Tiruchendur. The verses there reflect that it is a seashore temple where Patram, the Vibhuti is given in Patram, so it is understood that it is about Tiruchendur. And as it happens, the Tiruchendur Kumbhabhishekam was there just a few days ago. That's 2nd July. 3rd July was Lakshmi's Mahanirvana. 2nd was Kumbhabhishekam at Tiruchendur Murugan temple. Why we saying this now? This cow Lakshmi is lying there. She is panting, foam, saliva is dropping out of her mouth. She is in her last throes. And Dhutam me dayalo bhavagre purah shakti pani mamaya hai shigram, 9:30 in the morning. Guhaya namah, dandapane namah, kripapurnaya namah, bhavaroga bhishakvaraya namah, skandaya namah, devatamaya namah, amartyaya namah, senanye namah. Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi as Murugan is there in front of her. Mahabhairiti, fear not. The string of names of Bhagavan, all Murugan, 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 it comes in Ashtotram towards the end. Seems to be almost for this occasion of Lakshmi. He comes, he sits down on the hay next to her, he lifts her head in both his hands and gazes at her for half an hour, says Mudaliyar. His eyes trickling, her eyes trickling, everybody's eyes trickling. Strokes her head. Nagama says he put his left hand on her head and right hand on her throat and pushed his hand deep into her throat, right down to her heart. And kept it there for 15 minutes. By which time her entire breathing subsided. And then he, of course, asked her many times permission to leave, saying, people are there in the hall. I can be here. Like in the case of Mother Aragamma, people can be around. But why? Wherever you may be, I will never leave you. I am always with you. And all he tells her, and then again I go, Amma na polama. Finally, what he tells him, we don't know, but he gets up and goes. She is already in peace. On the way, he tells somebody, see that no flies enter into her mouth. And he goes. Samadhi sthiti, she is already in. There is no agony, there is no death throes. There is absolute peace. Doctor comes at 10:30 to give an injection, rolls her over into Nandi position. 11:30 a.m. Nagama finds the tongue of the cow Lakshmi is cold, life has gone. 11:40 Bhagavan comes and asks, is it all over? And then sits down again and lifts her face in his hands like a child, and Lakshmi Amma is controlling his tears. And then he turns and says, because of her, our family has grown to this extent. This is the scene that we see on the 18th. Yes, she is goddess Lakshmi, all right. Because of her, our family has grown to this extent. When she was the only cow in the ashram and the cow shed was to be made, Sarvadhikari Chinnaswamy was going to construct a thatched shed at a cost of 500 rupees. For which, as has been said, for the Muhurtam for which he took Bhagavan for the foundation laying ceremony. After the ceremony was over, Bhagavan stayed back and told Annamalai Swami, this is a small plan. This won't work. We need something much bigger. And he showed where it is to be built, how much it should be its length, how much should be its breadth. Huge plan he gave, one massive project. Instead of that small 500 rupees, he said, Hare, many cows are going to come. Huge project. Where to go for funds? This small thatched 500 rupees itself, it's so difficult. Stories are there. The North Indian prince, when he was going on a shikar, he paralyzed in front of a tiger and he prayed to Bhagavan saying, if I come out of this alive, I'll send 1,000 rupees. He sent 1,000 rupees, starting with that. Grand cow shed with dressed concrete, with teak. Rest of the things are all in the ashram, all thatch. Cow shed, concrete, teak, 48 feet by 48 feet, all directions. Just the teak cost 3,000 rupees in those days. Funds are not in short. When people complain funds are in short supply, Bhagavan saying, okay, you don't have to give me my medicine, jambakam, unnecessarily you're giving me food, these expenses can be saved, you can give it like that. And while it's being built, the cow shed is being built, Lakshmi will come to supervise. And then one day Bhagavan told Annamalai Swami, he says, when he came for supervision, he said, if you build this cow shed for Lakshmi, this is a very unusual statement from Bhagavan. If you build this cow shed for Lakshmi, we will all get the necessary punya to build a bookstore, a dining room, and a shrine for the mother. All this will happen in due course. This area will become a town if you build this shrine for cow shed for Lakshmi. Everything in the ashram we see came after the cow shed for Lakshmi was built. The dining room, the office room, the mother's temple, everything. This is goddess Lakshmi who was there in the ashram. If you offer necessary punya comes, if you offer her worship. Who was this Lakshmi? We know, you must have heard in the earlier ones, that she came in the dream, she told in the dream to Arunachalam Pillai that she should be presented to the ashram. If you see the temple in front of our ashram, there's this Kali temple on the opposite side of the road, just opposite the Dakshinamurti temple, there's a Kali temple. Ganeshan told me once that there's some, that Bhagavan had told somebody that Kali came, she's not from there, she's originally not from there. That Vigraham came from Maharashtra or somewhere else. She came in somebody's dream and said, I want to go here, you take me there. Likewise, Lakshmi in the dream had told Arunachalam Pillai that she wanted to come. Friday they came, that's why she's called Lakshmi. She came on a Friday. She came from a village near Gudiyatam, Desur, not the Vellore one, the one near Vandavasi. Interesting string of names. Now, all of you know the story of Lakshmi, so I'll cut. If you take the names of people who are associated with Lakshmi, the first person who brings her is Arunachalam Pillai. When Bhagavan says who is going to take care of her, the most unlikely person, Ramanatha Brahmachari says, strikes his chest and says, I will take care, Ramanathan. Then he cannot take care, he is not able to take care. So they put her in a cow shed in this thing in Tiruvannamalai. That person's name is Pashupati. Pashupati, then she comes to the ashram and the cow shed is built by Annamalai Swami. And after Mahanirvana, one day before Mahanirvana, this Tapati who knows how to build tombs arrives by chance to the ashram. And he is there on hand to build the tomb for Cow Lakshmi. His name is Sadashiva Iyer. Arunachalam, Ramanathan, Pashupati, Annamalai, Sadashivam. This string of names associated. Only thing slightly in between Ramanathan we may wonder, although it is Shiva and Rameshwaram, where is Rama coming into this? We will come to it towards the end. But this is the string of names. Lakshmi, she is the personification of Arul of Annamalai. What is Sharanagati? Sharanagati, they said. To my mind, it is. She is the supreme personification of bhakti in love for Bhagavan. Narada Bhakti Sutra says, when after the first three sutras, Atato Bhaktim Vyakhyashyamaha, what is bhakti? Next to sutram, Sato Asmin Parama Prema Rupa. Parama Prema Rupa. Third sutram, Amrita Swarupacha. It seems that this is about Lakshmi. We are going to tell about Lakshmi. She is Parama Prema Rupa, Amrita Swarupacha. Finished. Nothing further to elaborate on. We saw from the previous talks about her deep love for Bhagavan, how she used to come without caring who was on the way. People had to get out. She would trample them. She would go straight to Bhagavan, put her head on his feet. There are pictures of her. Every day she'll come and put her head on his feet first. He will stroke her. Her saliva will fall on him. She'll sit beside him. That is the reserved seat for her. Dinner time, she'll come and reminding about dinner time and have something from him and go to town. That was the routine. As everybody said, as others have said, she used to give calves on Jayanti day. One special incident which may have been covered earlier, but let's cover it again if it's been covered. She gave 3 calves before she came to the ashram, 6 afterwards. Just before the birth of the 3rd calf, when she had come to the ashram, this is from Shantamma's reminiscences. Bhagavan is sitting in the hall after lunch. He's reading the newspaper. Afternoon time. Cow Lakshmi comes, starts licking the newspaper. Going on licking the newspaper, and he's trying to tell her, wait a little bit. He's reading something. Wait a little, Lakshmi. But she's not waiting. Then he puts the paper down. And he catches her by her horns, very lovingly, and puts his head on her head, like that, like a child, Pandramari. 10 minutes, his head and her head are together. He's got the horns, and Shantama is seeing. Lakshmi's tears are pouring. She has stopped breathing, and she is gazing at Bhagavan. After that, for 10 minutes, and Bhagavan turns and tells her, Shantama, do you know what Lakshmi is doing? She is in Samadhi. She is in Samadhi. There is one more occasion where Sadhu Natanananda has said that she came, he was gazing at her, she was gazing at him, tears were streaming, breathing had stopped, and Bhagavan had told him, Sadhu Natanananda, do you know her state? No. She is in Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Sadhu Natanananda has said. He's stroking her and saying she is in Nirvikalpa Samadhi now. This is the cow we are talking about. So before the 3rd birth calf, when she was pregnant and she had come to the ashram, she said that was the time when he put his head on her head and gave her Samadhi Sthiti. And 4 days later was the 3rd calf was born, after which only that Pashupati, who was taking care of her in the Tiruvannamalai town, no longer could take care of her and came and gave her to this Pashupati, saying, now only you should take care of her. She already reached Samadhi, where what human Pashupati can take care of her now? So he came and left her in the ashram. And she sat next, with her calves, she sat next to Bhagavan, and Bhagavan said to her, look at the way, what self-assurance she's sitting. Now she knows that we will have to take care of her. You know, this is her home now. She doesn't have to go back anymore and all that. Right? Somewhere else, even somebody else, I read that with her calf, she's almost saying, I have brought my children to you. What more do I have to do? Nothing else. So this is this Lakshmi, who is the Parama Prema Swarupa, Parama Prema, Amrita Swarupa, who has experienced Nirvikalpa Samadhi by the grace of Bhagavan already. The previous speaker said about Kirapati. We are not disputing whether Kirapati was born as Lakshmi or not. That can also be in a different, who is born, who is not born. That is a different way as well of looking at that question. But yes, they were from the same town, Gudiyatham. That was what Bhagavan said, they are from the same town. Kirapati was of course a great lady. I mean, she was there in Annamalai before Bhagavan. She used to feed him at that time itself. She was there in the hill. Imagine a lady living alone in the hill, in Namashivaya Guha. And Bhagavan, till the end, he used to love her food. She was one person whose food he'll ask for second helping and third helping. Give me more. She is buried opposite, her burial place is opposite the Dakshinamurti shrine on the other side of the Chengam road, opposite the ashram. Under one tree she was buried. That's what literature says. Well, whether she is Kirapati or not, that's a different thing. So coming back to the Mahanirvana of Cow Lakshmi, come back to that point when Bhagavan has come back, 11:30, he said she has gone. And then he is asking the people there, I suppose the doctor has not troubled her much. Because the doctor had come to give her injection and all that was said. I tell you, the doctor has not troubled her much. And then he says, a quote from the book, he says, did you notice this? The right ear of Cow Lakshmi is uppermost now. It's lying down with its right ear up. Till yesterday she was lying down on the other side. Because of the boils, she has turned over to this side. So this ear had to come up. Look, in the case of people who die in Kashi, people say Lord Shiva will come and whisper in the right ear. Lakshmi too has her right ear up. Bhagavan says this. Nothing that Bhagavan says is without deep import. He's not giving a poetic analogy. He sees the truth, he speaks the truth. That's what he is. Adi Shankara has said about the Kashi, about singing about, talking about Kashi and the Taraka Mantra, he says, Yadha varnayat karna mulenta kale shivo rama rameti rameti kashyam tadekam param tarakam brahma rupam bhajeham 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 bhajeham. Yadha karna, Lord Shiva, Lord Vishwanatha and Kashi, when a human being is passing away, he comes and whispers into the ear, Rama rameti rameti kashyam, the Taraka Mantram of Rama, Tadekam param tarakam brahma rupam bhajeham 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 bhajeham. Sri Ramakrishna Paramahamsa, when he had visited Kashi and he was in the boat and he was looking at Manikarnika Ghat, he saw Pratyaksham, Lord Shiva going from body to body, whispering in the ear, Taraka Mantram, Taraka Mantram, Taraka Mantram. And as soon as he repeated the Taraka Mantram, Kali is standing next to him, untying the granthi for each person dying there. He's documented in Ramakrishna Paramahamsa's. So here Bhagavan is saying that right ear up, Kashi Landu Solra Mari, she is lying here. She comes from Gudiyatam, which is near Desur, one village near Desur. Desur is the nearest slightly bigger village. We saw Kirapati came from there, Mastan Swami came from there, Akhilandamma came from there, some pretty powerful devotees came from that little place, Desur area. So there is this great book called Tamil Nadu Shivasthalangal, which gives all the Shivasthalangal in Tamil Nadu. Beautiful book. So I was looking at, trying to figure out, what is this Gudiyatam and Desur about? And what do I find there? The temple in Desur is Kashi Vishwanatha. She comes from a place where the temple is Kashi Vishwanatha. Will he not come to give the Taraka Mantram at that time and at departure? Who is Mastan Swami? Mastan Swami Muslim, weaver. The kaupinam that he weaves is worn by Bhagavan. That's the only thing he wears. Ganeshana has told me that he has been told that Mastan used to come and give the kaupinam to Bhagavan. Bhagavan will bend and take it happily. He's a person, Mastan is a person who used to get Samadhi Sthiti early. Virupaksha Gohades, he'll go and stand in front of Bhagavan, 8 hours he'll stand. Muslim. Great soul. Weaver. Who does he remind us of? Kabir. Where was Kabir? Kashi. This happens like that in divine drama. These Mahatmas, they come like this. About Arunachala itself, the Mahatmyam says anybody who lives within 3 yojanas of this, all his defects will be erased and he will get union with the Supreme. Which Devaraja Mudaliar questioned Bhagavan, saying, how can this be possible? that anybody who lives in 3 yojanas or Arunachala will get union with Supreme, his defects will be erased. And Bhagavan had said, Mudaliyar, that is the Supreme Court Tirpu, you cannot question it. Shiva has said it. Who are we to question? So one, that is there. Then Kashi Vishwanath giving Taraka Mantra. What do we know about Lakshmi? And Bhagavan sitting and giving a complete Nirvikalpa Samadhi, Videha Mukti. So coming to the end of my sojourn with Lakshmi today, the Sagara Manthanam in Bhagavatam brought out Mahalakshmi and Kamadhenu, both. Our Lakshmi was both, Mahalakshmi and Kamadhenu both. Kavikanda Ganapati Muni in Uma Trishati. Uma Trishati is a very, very beautiful string of litany of 300 names of Uma. The sloka, and it will be in a certain order, which means there is a. I hope some great Vidwan one day writes a commentary on it. In one of the verses, the verses goes like this: Krishna Lakshmi Kamadhenu Arya Dakshayani Sati Ganesha Janani Durga Parvati Brahmacharini. Krishna, Lakshmi, Kamadhenu. Lakshmi and Kamadhenu come next to each other in his list. So the title that I have proposed is Ishwarigam Sarvabhutanam from Sri Suktam. Ashwadai cha Godai Gathanadai Mahadane Dhanam me Jushatam Devi Sarvakama Ansha Dehi me. Because of her, our family has grown so much. If you build this cow shed for her, we will get enough punyam to build a bookstore, a shrine for our mother, a dining hall. And now look at ashram. What a place. How many people are fed every day? That cows, 110 cows apparently are there now, whose milk and gobar glass from that is lighting the thing. Milk is providing all of us when we go there with all that we have. That is the glory of Lakshmi. I'll end this with some little thing by my father-in-law, Sri Aran, and I used to talk about it. That is nice to have in your puja room, along with Bhagavan's picture, a picture of cow Lakshmi as well, like this. By giving her that place, we will get enough punyam for so many things that will come later for ourselves. On that note, I conclude my little talk. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. 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 See, earlier I had said I would come back to the name of Ramanatha Brahmachari in that list of Arunachalam, Ramanathan, Pashupati, Annamalai and Sadashivam. It was this, Kashi Vishwanath, coming and giving the Rama Mantram in the last time for those who are getting Videha Mukti. Ramanatha Brahmachari, who is very uncharacteristic of him, he is supposed to say, I will take care of her. Rama took care. Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya.
For a very interesting and informative talk. Many of the incidents he quoted, many of us have not heard about it. He has taken so much trouble to collect all these things and present it today, the very auspicious day. They are really thankful to him. They request Swamiji to give prasad.